This episode is brought to you by that feeling in your gut like you hope it's going to work out. And God almighty, I don't want to wake up with a Nazi in charge. We'll see how this goes. Also brought to you by tea bags. And I mean that in both ways. And now, here's a song. Don't you know, talking about a revolution sounds like a whisper. Don't you know, talking about a revolution sound like a whisper. Paul, people going around. Okay, no, that's enough. All right, here they are, your inveterable host, Carlos Kareem Wyndham. Oh, I'm supposed to. There's applause. Hey, y'all. Oh, shit. Almost set my nethers on fire. That's no good.
You need those.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to need that later. Hey, y'all. How you doing? Welcome to Smoke and Mirrors. You can't hear. We got a guest. We're going to do some big shit today. Let's talk about what all is coming up on Thor's Day, the day of Thor, the day of Chang'o, if you know anything. Thursday. We'll be here with Dom Jones. Dom Jones is a musician in Oakland, California. One of my absolute favorites of all time. And we're going to be talking about song placement in film. Who are the people who place your favorite songs in the movies, and whether or not they're the people that you think they are. Spoiler alert, they're not. Hey, here's a record. It's called "And We Ride." There's a title track that's called "And We Ride." I'm all over that motherfucker. I'm all over a lot of the record because I'm in the band. This is a band that is brought together by singer-songwriter Aaron Wallace. The band is Wallace. The album is "And We Ride." We would appreciate it if you go to the Bandcamp and hook it up there. If you are that broke, please feel free to take your ass over to Spotify and do what you do. Hey, what is going on with y'all? What would be great is if you would share this. That's a great way to support it. And you could do that by sharing it on your Facebook page. You could also do it by sharing the YouTube page to a friend. That's all we ask here. That's called passing the J. You could, if you are really so motivated, throw a $5 on it. You could do that at Venmo at Carlos-Wyndham. You could do that at Cash App at $CK Wyndham. You could do that at PayPal/me.CK Wyndham. And if you really, really love what we do here, please join us on the Patreon. Become a patron. Then you get to watch what we're going to be doing with Dom Jones. You get to do a bunch of other cool shit. Cool shit is good. You know who's a patron? I'll tell you. It's Ruthie, Erica, Amber, Aaron, Seth, Lisa, Chris and Renice, Michael, Natalie, Renisa, Juliet, Tarika, Tracy, Venus, and Jen. Thank you all for your monthly contributions to whatever the fuck this is. Certainly do appreciate it. We're here under the Philosopher's Tree. That's what we do. Thank you so much for noticing the eyeliner. Jay, I don't know how you couldn't. It's not subtle. But thank you. Thank you. You have a warm bevy? You might want to put some scotch in it, given the night that is ahead of us.
Yeah.
My big concern right now, of course, is what kind of IEDs we're going to find out that the proud fellas and their ilk have planted, regardless of who's going to be president, because the whole point, of course, is that they just don't want a president. That's, I think, really what it is. We're going to get into it. I want to bring my friend on because, she is like me, in that she is gonna talk whether you expect her to or not. It's just gonna happen. I be talking. She be talking. Today we be talking. It's gonna be some talks. This is somebody who I have a deep fondness and affection for, who has taught me so much, and I've been appreciative throughout. Somebody who lives weekly on Tuesdays in my ears. Somebody who lives in my brain hole as one of the co-creators and co-hosts of Tea with Queen and Jay podcast. Also, editor-in-chief and founder of Ms. Vixen Magazine. Would you please welcome here beneath the philosopher's tree, my friend Queen. Queen, welcome to the programs.
Thanks for having me. This is dope. I like this.
Thank you. Thank you for being. I am so glad to hear that, and thank you so much for being here. As you know, and as we spoke about, I was wary to invite you, not because of you, because of you. I am very well aware of the rule and sentiment that men are trash. Something that I adopted, found myself in Facebook jail for 3 months for last year. Thank you very much.
I've been in that prison as well.
Right.
For saying this. Yep.
Yeah. So the fact that you would even trust to do this and to do this publicly and to do this live, I know that there have been circumstances where trash people have done trash shit in terms of having conversations with you publicly.
Yeah. Yes.
This ain't gonna be that. Hopefully, this ain't gonna be that. So thank you so much for being here.
I could just hang up,
Right? Listen, I know what it is too, and if you do just hang up, I'm gonna just keep going and act like shit didn't happen. I'm gonna be like, I don't know, my girl I think that the connection got cut. I don't know. How are you holding up today?
I'm holding up pretty well. I had already, well, I'm sure people know it's election day here in the state.
What?
And
it's an election.
You know, the thing we do where we, I guess, say we have a democracy and we vote for.
What are we voting on? Tay-Tay and Beyonce? What are we voting for?
Apparently, some presidents. On my ballot, there were a few judges and things like that. But yeah, so I had already had a lot of election day anxiety. If you listen to this week's episode of Tea with Queen and Jay, you will hear me express that. But I don't like seeing the lines. I know people get excited when they see the lines and they're like, oh my God, we're out and we're voting and they're doing a line dance and this person is giving cookies and this person is, oh, look at them standing in the rain because they really want to vote. And I'm just like, that shit is not right. I don't like it. It makes me sad. It makes me upset. That shit's not cute.
A party made out of voter suppression?
Yeah, it should not be that. It shouldn't be that hard to vote. It should not be that hard to vote.
It's gotten ridiculous. I don't understand how at this point we're not able to just vote by phone. Like if I get in my phone, I could get any food in the motherfucking world at my door within 72 hours.
Yes, everything. You can't
anything.
Do the census online. You can freaking it's just so much stuff that we're able to do online,
right?
Or on the phone that is just like, come on, y'all are wilding. And then something that I do think about, like, what if we do get electronic when it comes to that, or more like online or on phone?
Right.
What happens to people who don't have the access to that? So then that's another way to suppress a vote. So it's just like, I hate this shit and I just want to tear it down.
I mean, basically, right? As it is, right? The white supremacist capitalist patriarchy. We know what it is. Fuck this shit.
All of it.
I want to shout out to some friends of mine too, because I know you had talked about, and I do want to hear more about your experience actually doing the vote, because some friends of mine who are as reticent, and I'm reticent. I'm not a voting ass, like, let's all go vote, motherfucker. That ain't me, right? Like, I've been asked with different bands, with different little comedy shits, come out and support the candidate, and essentially I'll spend 3 to 5 minutes out on the stage along with whatever I'm presenting for them artistically, just being on some like, listen, I just basically the one there sucks so bad that I'm just here for the other person. I don't know shit about them. So other person. Um, yeah, I stopped getting invited. But you know, in specific right now, right? A friend of mine, DJ Wildchild, really was not about this vote. A lot of black women, a lot of black femmes, really not about this vote, and still did it, right? And still had been out there because of the danger of what if we don't. What was your voting experience like? Were you from jump like, okay, I guess I'm voting in this presidential election, or did it take any cajoling?
I didn't have to like sit and negotiate with myself for long because I these kinds of choices are the kind of choices that black women always have to make.
Mm,
Do I pick this? Do I think about even though we should be thinking well, most of us should be thinking intersectionally, that's not how most things are presented to us. So no, I'm not black first or woman first or queer first or Muslim first or whatever. But the world presents things that makes you have to like kind of just decide which thing is more important in this moment.
yeah,
So I didn't really have to negotiate much. I do understand and empathize to the people who did have to negotiate more because it makes sense. You should. I feel like for me, I did a lot of my negotiating though within the primaries. Was when I was like voting for my dreams, pointing at exactly who aligned with the most with what I need for myself and things like that. Now
mm-hmm,
at this point, comes to this point of the election, I'm really just voting for people who cannot vote.
right,
I'm voting for people who do not have the privilege to vote. I'm voting for the people who were formerly incarcerated and could not vote. I'm voting for the undocumented people or the residents here who do not have the right to vote, but they are still affected by the processes of the political process. So I'm a vote in favor of things that will benefit them because at this moment I'm not really voting for who I want. So I'm voting
mm,
thinking about the people who don't have the privilege right now. I'm just leaning into my privilege of being able to vote in this country.
yeah.
Hmm.
Given the bullshit choices that they had presented, who did you actually want if you would have had your choice? Who would be running up against this motherfucker right now?
I was more into Elizabeth Warren. She
Mm-hmm.
aligned a lot more with me. Um, but you know,
You
you
know?
know, not everything I want, but it was just closer to what I want.
Yeah.
And when it comes to, in my eyes, and I don't know about other folks, but when it comes to the processes of liberation for myself, some are longer than others. Some may feel more instant than others, but I understand that like voting is just a bare minimum
Mm-hmm.
of all of the changes that I want. It's not even something that for myself anyway, it's not even something that I talk about largely because that to me, that's just a little, what they call it, a pen in the bucket or whatever the fuck the saying is. But
Drop in the bucket. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like that's what voting is, a
I
drop in
like
the
that. What is
bucket.
that? Pin in the bucket? Fuck that. I like that. I like that. Pin it. That's how you got the hole in the bucket, motherfucker. Keep fucking around. Keep playing.
Because the pen was there. But yeah, it's a lot of that. I do want to focus. I always say I want to focus more on the local votes that's happening where I live, but
Mm-hmm.
it's so hard to like figure that shit out. I like a
Right.
lot of the jargon is not accessible to me. I don't know laws and shit. Like I didn't do any, in that way. Or when you Google the person who's on the ballot, is not really a there needs to be a place where like all of the things that they voted for and or like all of the stuff on a local level can just be in one place and then I could just make my decision. But I
Right.
have to do a fucking research project
Which
to
again is
figure
voter
out
suppression, right? It's just
that
more voter suppression. What the fuck is that?
exactly. Like, exactly. The judges that I was looking for that on my ballot for where I live in Brooklyn couldn't really find a whole lot. So I just
Mm.
had to go on based on like some of the, I guess, general ideas that they have about the judicial system and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I still felt like I voted for somebody who ain't shit because I don't really know.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, and it's, I've often said, right, like, and both about national and local elections, we talking about the differences between voting for wet and dry farts. Like, it's not
Yeah.
either way.
Yeah.
Either way, this is not going to be sweet, you know.
Mm-mm.
And as you said, I think, and that's one of the things that my sister, DJ Wildchild, and like some other people who are having a hard time with this shit really
Mm-hmm.
recognize is that this ain't the work. You know what I'm saying? And like
Yeah.
any of these white liberals, any of these dams who start falling in this bullshit, believing that it is, right?
Yeah.
And if they do win, that might be more dangerous because they're going to put their little pink hats back up in the closet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a wrap. They're going to be just happy.
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah.
going to be happy.
They they finally felt like, oh my God, the world doesn't fuck with us, or like this country does. This is the first time that they did not trust this country. This 4 years, especially when it comes to what's happening now with COVID, is
Yeah.
the first time any of them are like, oh shit, I cannot trust this America that I've been told that I could trust. And that's
Right.
the only reason why they care. It's not about a black life. It's not about a queer life. It's not about, oh my God, is this an awakening and realizing my privilege? No, you just realize you can't trust this country anymore. That's all it is. And now it's like, now you want to fix the system that's been the way it's been because you realize, no, bitch, it could fuck you over too.
Can and
So,
will.
yeah. And it has. They just been complicit in it,
That's it.
So
Well, that's it. They
that,
got their little piece of the pie, and I'm gonna be honest. Like, I love the idea
mhm.
of any judge being framed as a hero of the people. Okay, but if we really gonna get into motherfucking history and get real,
Yeah.
Ruth Ginsburg, in terms of black people,
Yes.
ain't
I
shit.
didn't, ain't ain't shit. And
Ain't
it's like
shit.
because of the and I'm gonna talk about things more so on a systemic level because I know she ain't shit because I just know she ain't shit. But I'm not a politics ass bitch to know like to give you a fucking bullet point list of why she ain't shit. I just know she ain't shit or whatever.
Mm.
But like the way that stuff is set up, everybody ain't shit. Nobody ain't shit. So I am a proponent for tearing it down, and it's not a system that I want or whatever. But at the same time, I'm going to use every fucking tool in the box.
Right. Yeah,
So
no, and as much as she ain't shit, I ain't saying let's throw her out, right? Like, I'm not saying let's throw out the legacy. I just want some clarity for all of us because I am that historical ass bitch, okay? So let me be clear, right?
here's my list.
Yeah, I'm going to give you the big one. All this shit that she did around the rights for women was basically jacking what was meant to be the rights for black folks,
Yeah.
right? And reapplying it, reintegrating it for women, right? Which in her language meant white women.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then everyone else got forgot because if you don't lift black women first, all boats are not going to rise. Everyone else will be forgotten. And white women got their little piece of the pie and been complicit up until the point that it was like, oh, you know what? Your pie could get taken too. Your pie could get taken too. Watch.
Yeah, I didn't understand a lot of the I think it's funny that her initials are RBG because that's red, black, and green, and that's just like, oh shit. But okay.
And it that might be that and the Biggie Smalls appropriation might be the blackest shit about this woman. You know what I'm saying? Again, no shade.
Okay. But like I didn't understand like a lot of the outside of like I think I would say some queer people that I know who a lot of the things that she advocated for was helpful for the queer community and things like that. I'll be honest and say that because I didn't know enough about her to be honest, I hadn't realized that she was involved in that. So I wasn't thinking in that way. But I just didn't understand black people. I'm always talking about black people. I'm always centering black people when I'm talking. So when I say everyone, that's what I'm talking about. But I didn't want to understand how everyone was like so affected or like so connected or like what I didn't understand what the fuck was happening. Like
Right.
I didn't understand that at all. She is not someone that I had ever uttered about in my life when it
Mm.
came to anything close to the liberation of me. So I just didn't I was it was strange. It was strange. And I did as I got information, I got that people was like, well, she was, you know, more liberal leaning, I guess, and that they, you know, they were going to put a more conservative person in her spot, blah 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 blah. And all I thought was like, well, damn, this system is that and well effective because that's how they wanted to work, but
Right.
ineffective for me that we had to like we had to like pray that a woman couldn't like leave this earth peacefully
Don't
because
die.
she
Right.
yeah like we had to like pray that this person didn't die so that we can have like a glimmer of like some like that's not how it should be. That's not how anything like why is that the thing that we were holding on to? So I'm guessing maybe that was why a lot of black people were like hurt. I don't think they were actually hurt, but hurt
Yeah.
by this. I don't know. It was just strange
Well, I'm
to me.
frightened by it, right? I think that's what a lot of it was, right? Because it's been since, I mean, frankly, it's been since Thurgood Marshall, since we had a motherfucker on the Supreme Court that gave a motherfucker about any of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the fear of the wild imbalance, right? And again, as you were alluding to, right? The system of white supremacy culture, and in particular, white affirmative action, as it works for white
Yeah.
women, right?
Mhm.
Being threatened, and the idea that their healthcare system, because again, they don't care if nobody could get to no clinic. They don't give a
Mhm.
fuck, right?
No.
In
No.
theory, maybe, but that their healthcare system is on the chopping block potentially twice over. I think that may have. I don't know, and honestly, I don't even know if people got that kind of analysis anymore after all this bullshit with Lil Wayne and fucking all these rapping ass masculine motherfuckers. I just don't know no more. I don't know anymore. I can't tell. I can't tell.
I when it comes to them, I it's funny because I watched something today on Kimberly Forster was having a conversation with someone about this on from her for Harriet channel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, there most black men are not voting for Trump, so I just want to make sure I hold space for that. But
Okay.
for me, I just want to yeah, I just wanted to make sure we say that most black men are not voting for Trump, and it's very easy, and I have been seduced by that conversation because of those
Mm.
collective rich black men, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
like most black men are not voting for Trump. I was seduced by that narrative as well, but those my issue with those black men who did that was that you never say anything ever. Like Little Wayne literally did not understand why Black Lives Matter was a thing. He did an
That clip.
interview and he
That clip is one of the most craziest
I don't
shits.
know. So like you can just continue being quiet.
Right.
Ice Cube, I don't know. I don't know her.
O'Shea the feds. O'Shea the feds.
Yeah, like the Ice Cube thing it was strange. I don't know. Everything is just strange. It's really interesting, and this is why I am very uncomfortable generally. Not very uncomfortable, but very cautious of male men presenting people because of the space that they just always want to take up. And to me, this is an instance of that of these black men just wanting to take up space for no apparent reason. Because Trump has been president for 4 years, and you wait a couple of weeks or 2 months, that's the most, to start talking about political things that have been affecting, like how that have been affecting everyone
Mm.
for how many years? If it's specifically for Trump, you've
Mm.
had 4 years to have this conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Listen.
This pandemic has been going on for months. You just started talking 2 months ago. Like what, so that's my thing, is that them taking up space and people allowing them to take up space. If
Yeah.
I was a huge media space, no, you can't come on my show with that bullshit. I do not like just letting them just talk. That just hey, I really can't get with the fact that people just be letting men talk with no credence, no credential, no fucking knowledge, and you're sitting at the same table as me. Why are we at the same? Like what? I don't like that. I don't like that as a black woman that I have to be smart. I don't believe these things, but the world believes that I have to be smart. I have to know what I'm talking about. I have to speak a certain way. I have to look a certain way, and all of this stuff just to sit at the table with a nigga who barely has on a clean shirt, face is ashy, and doesn't know anything. And I'm at the same table with you having a conversation about black liberation. Why are we sitting together? Why are we at the same place? So that's like that's my thing with them, is that they even felt that they could, like, you just know, like, okay, I don't know this.
No, we know what it is. It's the DeRay effect. It's the DeRay effect. Shut the fuck up. What you doing?
Yeah.
You ain't start shit. You ain't, as y'all say, you ain't got no fucking letter jacket. You don't go to school here. Why are you here?
Why are you here?
Why?
Yes.
What are we doing? Why are you fucking here? Black Women Blueprint been doing this shit. There's actual motherfuckers organizing. There are all kinds of women legislating. Auntie Maxine trying to get some shit done. And you coming and fucking around with your little platinum fucking nigga. Anyway. Bless their hearts. And you're right. Again, it is not all black men. And if we're honest, it is truly the former members of NWA, their associates, and No Limit Records. So that's
50 Cent too. Let's not forget that, clown.
Hey, he's an associate. Fuck that shit. Dre put him on. Dre and Eminem put him on. Same camp. Don't tell me that they ain't no Jerry Heller behind the scenes running these niggas around on their little leashes, telling them what they can and can't do. Fuck that. Fuck that. They don't know shit. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. It's 5 dudes. Don't buy it. I hope y'all voting. Dear God. Dear God. Whew. Okay, Raven wondering what automatic registration at 18 would do for people that, that would be dope. That's not going to happen though, honey. They're going to, you know that. Raven's my girl. That's why we talking, right? Raven's my girl. So we gotta, but we know what it is. They want bodies for their little bullshit ass wars. This is about property. This is about land.
Yeah.
It's about colonialism. So how did you come to be what, to my mind, and this is one of the things that both I love about you and intimidated me about the idea of having you, is very normal talk. But folks consider to be radical and anti-colonial, anti-white, simply because it happens to be pro-black, this kind of thing. How did you come to a level of comfort within yourself and within this kind of conversation and language?
A lot of it is from my upbringing. I come from that flawed place called the Nation of Islam. And my parents were very, like, if you know the history of the Nation of Islam and you understand the censoring of mostly black men, but what they felt they were censoring blackness. That's just something I just always grew up with. I was in a house where I was told that I'm the original man, this is my shit. This is my earth. This is my, like, all of this is mine. And so I never really had the space to, like, if I ever felt like it wasn't, it was only for a split second because I was around so many people in my upbringing who was like, nah, this is yours. Like, I don't give a fuck what they say. This is yours. This is your world. This is yours. So it was really, I think that made it easy. I also have parents who are very not respectable. So there's a respectability in everybody. Yeah. But I would say not respectable in the sense of they were already I guess I wouldn't want to say renegades, but they converted to Islam. So they were already like making choices for themselves. Like those are the parents that I come from. Like this is I'm gonna deviate from what everyone in my family and all of this stuff says is the way, and I'm gonna do this thing. So I think that because they
So did
are
they have
peaceful,
a history of Christianity then? Did they leave church or did they leave secular people? What?
my mom. Well, when I'm talking about my mom and dad, I'm talking about my stepdad, just to be specific.
Okay.
And
Say word.
mom, my bio dad was also. I don't know if he was in a nation, but he played with the nation. You know, there was people who one foot, one out, because
My middle name is
um,
Harim for exactly that reason. That's, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, all right. I know a Quran, like I've been to a mosque or two, but it ain't like, we ain't Muslims. Why is that? Because you like Malcolm, my name got to be Harim. Like that, it ain't even a small K. It should be Al Harim. Like, this ain't right. Anyway, so, yeah.
I think because I had parents like that who were in a lot of ways that is very that's like an extreme kind of deviation from the norm.
Right.
Like
Okay, say
you know,
word.
so I have parents who were comfortable with deviating from the norm. So those are just my parents. So I think that a lot of this is just like within my upbringing, and then as I got older, I kind of just leaned more and more into myself. But when I was younger, I was that one black girl who was like, you know, like she always talking about race, or she's going to take it there, or she's going whatever. I
Mm-hmm.
think that it was helpful to have my family be like that because I didn't feel like bad about it. I did always feel kind of like I was sticking out, but I always was kind of sticking out because I was the only Muslim girl.
Right.
So, these things where I was already used to being an other in those ways that I I found comfort in that rather than discomfort in that.
So this wasn't at a Muslim centered school. This wasn't at an NOI school. You didn't do that for elementary.
No, when I was in elementary school, I did go to private school. It was called the Learning Tree, and it was headed by a woman who went to our mosque, but it was not an associate. It was not a Muslim school,
Oh,
but it was
okay,
a very
okay,
Afrocentric, Afrocentric type of school.
right.
I went there. Then I went to another. I went when I started going to public school. My principal was also in my mosque. Then I went to middle school or junior high school. The principal was in my mosque. And my parents were very specific about who was going to educate her
Okay, so
children.
that was not incidental. Yeah, we hunting
Yeah,
down who
yeah,
at the.
no,
Okay,
very intentional. I'm like, I live in the South Bronx, and I'm going to school. Like, this is back in the day where they couldn't catch you so much. My mother
right.
lied about my address, so I went to schools in better districts. Like nowhere near. I never went to a school in the same borough that I lived
Yeah,
in
no,
for the
I know
most.
that hustle kid. A couple pieces of mail sent over to whoever house.
Yes, exactly. And then because I was in schools where the principal was in my mosque, made it a little, statute of limitations is over, so I can say it out loud. But so I was privileged enough to be educated, even though it wasn't education, or the schools didn't have all of the things that people say good schools have.
Mm,
It had all of the things that my parents knew that I needed as a black girl.
right on.
Um, so yeah, so a lot of that. It wasn't until I was in high school where I was like, it wasn't until high school where it was like a white person in my school, like. So yeah, and then New York City has
I'm
the
so
most segregated.
jealous.
No, 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 but New York City has the most segregated school system. So my high school experience is very rare. Our school
Right.
systems are extremely segregated. It's one of the most segregated in the country. I like to say that all the time because people think diversity is popping in New York City and it's not. Our
Mm,
school systems are very, very segregated. So it was rare that I would have a high school as diverse as mine. But my mom intentionally found that school. Like she just was very intentional about who was allowed to educate her children. But I know that there's privilege in that,
right.
but
Right.
that's that. So a lot of that. I think a lot of that. I always think my parents and my education track or path with me a part of like why I am the way I am. Yeah.
Right on. So one of the things that I know least about you, because as I had said in the introduction,
Yeah.
you are one of the co-founders, co-hosts
Mhm.
of Tea with Queen and Jay podcasts. I've
Mhm.
been a stan for about half a decade. Um, is Ms. Vixen.
Mhm.
And so it's a magazine. It's a virtual magazine.
So it started out. I actually started Miss Vixen like maybe 2 years before Tea with Queen and Jay. I've always
Okay.
been a magazine fiend. Like every magazine I had, every magazine since from Blackness, because white things were not allowed in my house. But every magazine I had in my house, I always wanted to own a magazine or do something in journalism. But I grew up in one of the homes where it's like, you're not majoring in journalism. Like that don't get you paid.
Mm.
So that was like one of those things that I always wanted to do that I like kind of just like kept to myself. Um, so then when blogging became a thing, I was like, oh, I could just do this. Like, this is how I can have a magazine. I could just do it. And I've just been doing it ever since. On and off. There are times where I won't touch the site for like ever. Then there's times when I'm like crazy, crazy active with it. But it's grown into a basically like a lifestyle space.
Mm-hmm.
But our tagline is that this is a place where Black women, Black femmes, and folks impacted by misogyny are the standard and not the exception. So I'm just creating a safe space for us to like be, and where we understand that we're the standard. We're not the default. We're not the exception.
Mm.
We're not the like. I refuse to use language like black hair or stuff like that. It's hair. We're the standard, so we're going to say hair, right?
Yes. Yes.
um, so I do a lot of that in that space, and with that, I have a podcast with that as well.
Okay.
Um, I have the magazine part, and then before the shutdown, I had IRL events in the Brooklyn area with that to just cultivate space for us to just do our fucking thing and be fly bitches.
Yeah, absolutely. So the podcast is Ms. Vixen Podcast. Is that what it is?
Yep.
Okay.
hmm
Cool. Cool.
And
Cool.
there is
Cool.
where I'm just having conversations with folks with Black friends, and we're just talking, and I'm just getting to know them, and then within the conversation, we figure out ways that they affirm themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about our life until now has somehow affirmed who we are now. So that is what the flow of the conversation is, and what we are talking about on
Mm.
the podcast.
Mm.
hmm
How often do you do that one?
That is bi-weekly, but that one is seasoned. So 2 seasons are there, and
Okay.
then 2, 3 will probably be starting in December.
All
But I
right.
am changing the direction. I am an introvert. It is really hard for me to like talk and have like full conversations with people that I do not know,
Mm-hmm.
and or yeah, like I'm not. I've noticed that like for me to set up an interview, it took me a minute. Like I would delay it and procrastinate. It was like I'm fighting against something. Maybe I shouldn't fight against it. And
Right.
I also noticed that I had some solo episodes that people really, really enjoyed. So I think I'm just going to go in that direction, and then have guests maybe sometimes.
Hello,
But
cool.
I am not. I'm not a person. That's really hard for me.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I am good at it though. And sometimes I fool people because I am like that. But
Right.
it I don't know. It's just like a thing it's something in my head that yeah.
Yeah. I don't think people understand truly what introvert means. Do you know what I mean? I think people think it means shy,
Yeah, a
and
lot of it.
right, and it's like no, no, I'm an introvert, and so what happens is I do this, or I do my little shows or whatever it is. I solo with a person. I did a little comedy show, little music, whatever, and
hmm
then I go the fuck home.
Yeah,
The
and like
fucks home.
yes, yeah,
We're done. Da da. Bye. And then I'm out.
yeah.
I can't. Like I
Mhm.
can't. I can't. I can't. I can't. It costs to.
It's not because I feel depleted. I feel tired.
Mm,
Sometimes I'm wired. So it's like I need to come down from the high, and now it's like, what the fuck? So yeah, it's not just this easy. And I'm not shy. So because I'm not shy, I do say whatever I want, and I guess I have like a boisterous or assertive kind of connotation to some
you
people,
you
and,
guess? You guess? You think? Maybe?
people just assume that, like, like, I'm like, I'm drained. Like, bitch, get
Yeah.
out the way. I want to go to bed.
Well,
Yeah.
let's. So, in terms of that boisterous personality, right? You and Janicia have been doing the podcast together for 6 years now. Is that right?
7. Yeah.
7. God damn.
Mhm. 7
Shit.
years.
Okay, right. We've been locked up for years. So that means I've been listening for 6 years. Okay, I know what's going on. I got it. I know time. I'm good at this. This is why you don't write down questions. Just talk. Just say what the fuck ever. It's fine. Uh, so y'all been doing this for 7 years. What are the things that I know that new listeners, sometimes come up against that they may not be ready for is the dynamic that you two hold, and knowing and being clear to understand that whatever else is happening, it is love. This is the team. Don't fuck around, but there is an initial perception. What is it that you think works in terms of your pairing, in terms of your relationship, in terms of what listeners are hearing exceptionally well, and what is kind of challenging, do you think, for a first time listener if they were about to listen to Queen and Jay?
For a first time listener, I think that we're all used to hearing people who are talking, who are expecting white people to be listening.
Mm.
And that's not something me and Jay do. We do like that. We are not talking to them at all, actually. And I think because we make a point to center a very specific person that no one wants to ever center, that's what makes the show what the show is. We do not. A lot of times when people are creating things, they're thinking about the mainstream and getting, connecting with all people because that's where the money is at and shit like that. But you are cutting out the rest of the world literally when you do that. But if I'm talking in ways that center Black femmes, Black women, people impacted by misogynoir and other marginalized folks, way more people relate to that than relating to you trying to relate to white people or relate to white cis men in particular, because that's who the gatekeepers generally are. So when you do this, everyone wants to make it. I want to make it too. My idea of what making it looks like is completely different. So that's what allows me and Jay to just kind of just come on the show, center who we want to center, and that's it. And I think that's what makes it work. But that is also why it's difficult when people listen to our show first time, because it's like we are used to listening. Everyone who most people, I'll say most people who have media platforms we want white people to listen, and me and Jay don't care about that.
Wait, you got real careful. Oh, fuck that. You got real careful for a fucking second. Wait a minute. When you say, cause you held your breath and you got a little careful when you said, want white people to listen. What were you going to say?
I felt my weed a little bit, so I was like,
oh, okay. Yes. Yes.
there you go.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that's right. I think that's a lot of what it is, because one of the things that is wonderful about it is the way that you are able to call each other in and call each other out, right, around your strengths, right, and really helping each other highlight your strengths, even those that are hidden from you and have been hidden from you, and the places where there's a lot of room to grow, and are willing to step into it in a way that I think is very different than most podcasts that are available, right? It's not a situation where if you listen to what y'all are talking about and the way you even structure the show now, that you're going to hear the same thing if you go back even 3-4 years, right? Y'all grow
Yes,
And
yes.
as you grow, it shows up. What has that been like for you to do that publicly? Like, do people ever come at you funny style about like some old shit, or walk up at you on the street like they know you from someplace or some shit like that?
No, that hasn't happened. And
Yet,
it better not happen.
you know it's
As far
going
as,
to.
on the street. But I think that because her and I are very honest about learning out loud and are not afraid to make mistakes
Mm-hmm.
and own up to our mistakes, that I think that since it's kind of the culture of the show,
Mm.
uh, to be vulnerable in that way, that I don't think people who fuck with Tea with Queen and Jay will listen to something old and hold it against us, because we are very, very clear about this learning process being so open and honest and vulnerable. Like that's the part where me and her just always want to just like bust it wide open and be honest about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, it has to be. It has to be. And I think that a lot of the reasons why people, especially in because of social media, um, we want people to be these perfect people, and that's not the truth. That's not the truth. That's not what I don't even think the same things that I thought 5 years ago that I think now. And
Mm.
because now everyone is privy to kind of see who people were, snapshots of who people were 10 years ago, that we it's like, oh, and it's like, no, nobody was ever 100% perfect. And I am a
Yeah.
person who has also, I participated in that, so I'm not saying I'm a human too, you know. But through the show, I've learned that, like, not even for myself, there are things that from 2 years ago that I've said on the show 2 years ago that probably is not something that I would say right now. But I think that we all need to be more vulnerable and honest about that growth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then won't become something that is so stigmatized when it's like, ooh, I found this from 4 years ago,
Yeah.
and you said this thing about, I don't know, light skinned girls. It's just,
Right. Well,
yeah.
and that's one of the things I appreciate about y'all, right? Like, because in anything that we do, right, that puts us in a public spotlight, and one of the areas that I have been getting really tired of hearing
Hmm.
some bullshit around whether or not there's space to grow and evolve, right, is in that comedy world where motherfuckers get on this bullshit about like, well, we can't say anything. It's like, motherfucker, you can say whatever you want to. You're
Hmm.
responsible for it, and also you don't have to be saying the same shit you said 10 years ago because the joke got you a laugh then.
That's the thing when it comes to comedy, because I used to really, 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 really be into stand up,
Yeah.
and I'm not into it into it because it's like nothing has from who is in the mainstream and whatever.
Right.
They're doing the same fucking thing, and it's like, yo, Dave Chappelle, like,
It
you're doing this,
hurts.
like, you have not, that has not grown, like, you have not grown your
Yeah.
talent. Like, Beyonce Destiny's Child was not the Beyonce that we saw in Black is the King. We saw like a growth and a change and a difference. Can we see that in comedians too? Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Come on.
Well, and we
So,
can if people do exactly what you're talking about, right? Like leaning into the bravery, right?
hmm,
Like, all right, yeah, I changed. This is gonna be weird for y'all. This is what happened. Where's that piece?
yeah,
Right?
hmm,
Like I don't see it, right? And even watching how, especially that ilk that you're talking about, right, which is the most famous ilk, all those famous cats come out of the comedy store, which is why they all have that same bite to them of always
hmm,
being an asshole and never changing once they get famous, right?
yeah,
And so you find that same kind of attitude in the range from like Bill Burr to Dave Chappelle to Sarah Silverman. It's like, all right, y'all. So really, like the claim is just like, okay, who could be the biggest asshole? Like that's what's funny.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
and
but then what if you can't? Like, what if you just don't want to play the dozens that night? What if we just, I don't
yeah,
know.
it's lazy. It's laziness.
Yeah,
Honestly, it's laziness. It's complacency, and it's because the gatekeepers are white men, and that's what is funny to them. So they
yeah,
always want to keep pushing that out of the machine, and that's why those are the people who are the famous people, and
yeah.
that's why those are the people who are getting the specials, And that's why people think that that is just what stand up is, and it's like, nah, it's not. It's really
Nah, nah. And let I fuck it. You know, I don't know what it means for whether or not I work again once we ever get out of here. But I'll tell you this. I'll be specific. Fuck is fucking Pauly Shore and his brothers. Is Joe Rogan. That's it. That's who determines if you get a special. That's who determines if you're gonna be global famous. Fuck them. Fuck them.
yeah,
They're not
yeah.
funny. I don't want. I don't. Well, why? Who? They're not funny. Who are they to judge who's funny? I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't I don't get it. We get it, but we don't get it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Talk about laziness. I don't get it. Yes, you do. Yes, you motherfucking do.
Yeah.
Ugh. What you gonna do? What you gonna do tonight when we get off this shit? How you gonna? Are you even gonna look?
No, I don't think it's too many votes to count. I don't think we're gonna know tonight. Like
Nah.
this too. It's too. I feel like it's gonna be like. Remember that time when I think it was I was a kid, but it was like John Kerry and some. It was some election where we were
Kerry
trying to get
Bush.
Bush out.
Kerry Bush.
And, like, it's carried on for a little bit before we knew who the winner was.
Yeah.
Remember? I
Yeah.
think it might be like that because it's just the voter turnout has been amazing. But that's a lot more to count.
Yeah, and it's been amazing on both sides. I want motherfuckers to recognize that too. California, you still got 2 hours. An hour. Get on your game, motherfuckers. We got 45 minutes really.
They voting just as much. But yeah, so I feel like it's going to be a lot to count. So like I'm gonna like clean my bedroom, probably smoke the rest of this spliff and like eat.
What you gonna eat? I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna eat after this shit.
I don't know yet. I haven't even. It's probably going to be something with no meat in it because I ain't take nothing out the freezer. I ain't forced nothing. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm not a mom, so I can't call somebody and be like, "Yo, take that chicken out the freezer." I don't have that, so if I don't take it out, it's frozen.
Right. Sometimes I be looking around this place. I'm like, can't nobody else be the grown up today? It's just me. Terrible bullshit. All right. Well, listen. Anything else you want to tell these people? You've been so very generous, and I'm high too. So and it's just a conversation. Anything else you need people to know for sure before we get up out of here?
Make sure you listen to my podcast, Tea with Queen and Jay. We're everywhere that you find podcasts. Follow us on social media at Tea with QJ. That's on Instagram and Twitter. It's Vixen Mag, Vixen Mag, and that's just MS and then VixenMag.com. Visit that there, and that's where you can get the podcast. You can read articles. I have a lot of Black femmes who submit articles. You can donate money if you want to do that. Especially if you're white. If you're white, if you're not donating money, then
come off the motherfucking chips. I'll say it. Come off the motherfucking chips. We're coming for you. Come off the bag. You got the bag. We need the bag. What else?
And then I guess you can follow me on my personal social media. I am at The Queen Speaks with an underscore on Twitter and Instagram.
Good enough. Thank you so very much.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, listen, and I'll say this too because I don't know if I was speaking of vulnerable with everybody here. Based on the rules of knowing that feeling that we share, I knew that there was no way that until Janicia was able to tell you, Jay was able to tell you that it felt like a safe enough space and she was not harmed.
I'm very like, no.
Exactly. I was like, I know. I was talking to Tracy about it. I was like, no, I ain't asking Amy yet. No, it ain't time. Hold on. There's 5 more episodes. 5 more episodes. She got to know. Otherwise, the shit ain't going to pop. They going to pop. Oh, shit. Thank you so much for being here, for spending some time. You're welcome to sit, hang out. If you're ready to go eat, go do what you got to do. You ladies, gentlemen, gentle them, please give it up for my friend Queen. And that's just about a show, isn't it?
That didn't even feel like an hour. That felt like 5 minutes.
See that, and that's how come you talking. These people still here. These people still here listening to you. I love it. Talk. Don't let them know. Shit. I said at the beginning, you as loquacious as me. We might be talking for another hour after this over. Hey, if you haven't voted, I want you to go do that, please. If you are on the West Coast, I don't give a fuck. Your shit. I live in California. It's blue. I live in Oregon. It's fuck you. Anybody who was, go ahead. Talk. No. I'm bringing you back on. Talk. Say it. Say it. Say what you're saying.
There's other things on the ballot. You're not just voting just for a president. There's other things on there that will affect you like directly because it's local. So like you could be voting for the minimum wage to be raised or not. I don't know what's on everyone's ballot. I'm just gonna throw shit out there. There's states that are voting to legalize marijuana. There's
Come on, stupid.
There's other things on the ballot.
We voting to get hallucinogenic mushrooms on the goddamn ballot for therapy and shit up in Oregon right now.
See?
Finally got on the ballot. Y'all like AOC? Fucking vote down ticket. That shit you ain't getting no more bartenders up in the goddamn Senate not voting down ticket. Judges, they determine who going to jail or not.
Yep.
They want to vote for one of them. Who gives a shit?
DA, they determine who's charged or not.
And here, Adrienne Brown, that's the one. She popping. This is a hire me and my crew. We did all kind of training for them, and every single judge of every single chamber in equity matters in terms of the courtroom. And I got in a yelling match with one of the judges. Thank you very much. A white man. Yeah, no, he got a little angry at the end.
Like a Tuesday.
You know, he got a little angry at the end, and we was over in the place, and they was in the jury place. So I just told him, sit back down. You're not in charge today. I hope I never have to appear in front of him. Okay, closing this out. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
I don't know. This is where I usually do a little skit. I just did it with Naeem, and that's about that. And so here's the closing page. This has been another episode of Smoke and Mirrors. Thank you so much for joining me with my special guest, Queen, who I called Queen twice just now, and not by her birth name, Queen. I meant Queen. I said Queen. Go ahead and look for Smoke and Mirrors at IG. Smoke and Mirrors, CCB, that's comedy, culture, and bullshit. You know what? Let's make that comedy, culture, and blackness. Fuck all that. Hey, Twitter at Caballo Negrito for the monolingual among you. Caballo Negrito means get your ass out and vote against the Nazi. Literal translation. Caballo Negrito, vote against the Nazi. You can also, if you have an idea, thought, a suggestion about who should be on the show, what else we should be gabbing about, why we should be doing this, and maybe if I should just shut the fuck up, you could write to us at Smoke and Mirrors, CCB, Comedy, Culture, and Blackness. That's right. I just rebranded, motherfuckers. I'm not going to stop that. At gmail.com. This is an event that is produced and hosted by myself, Godless Kareem Wyndham. This is also produced by Tracy Tatamy. Thank you so much for spending some time. Please take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Do not go outside. If you go outside, wear a motherfucking mask. When you come back inside, wash your hands. The Muslims were right. You were wrong. 5 times a day, motherfuckers. 5 times a day. Feet and teeth, too. You stank. Okay, I hope you'll come back tomorrow. All right, I love you. Bye.